Hey, what's up, guys? This is Kendall Rogers from D1Baseball.com. I'm here with one of my favorites. John and I go way back. From John, what was it? You took me back in probably like 2007. Was it El
Yeah,
Cholo?
El
We
Cholo.
went
Yeah,
with
right there
the
on
staff. Man, that
Wilshire
place is good.
Boulevard. Yeah,
Yeah, man, that was a long time ago. So he
still
he and I
there.
go way back. I think
Yeah,
your son was playing for the UCLA football
yeah,
team back then.
yeah. Back in the day, yeah.
Daughter was on the cheer team. So this is a UCLA guy right here. John and the Bruins this weekend, number one team in the country, will be in Arlington at Globe Life Field. This ought to be a fantastic tournament. You got Tennessee, Texas A&M, Mississippi State on the docket. But John, just looking at your club so far, I mean, to be preseason number one and to play at the level that you guys are playing at right now, you have to be pretty pleased.
I think we are. I mean, the high expectations. You got
Mhm.
the Chalowski factor. You got the draft all over the field. You got that going
Yeah.
on. So you got some guys off to some hot starts. You got some guys off to some rather slow starts. But we have played, I think, pretty good team baseball. We've had a really good, defensively. We have made an error this season in 7 games. So
Wow.
that's obviously a good statistic. And then offensively, we swung the bat, we slugged. We have 18 doubles, 17 home runs, and against good competition. So, I would say that we're off to a good start. Still a lot to go. Clearly, this will be a great opportunity and tremendous challenge.
Yeah, I guess looking at the pitching staff first and foremost, we'll get to Rock and company in a minute. But Logan Redmond was one of the best transfer pitchers in the country last summer.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys were lucky enough to get him as a part of your arsenal. 16 strikeouts and 10 innings pitched. As a pitching guy, what are you kind of seeing from Logan so far this year?
Oh, I think he's really bursting onto the scene.
Hmm.
He's repeating his delivery. He's been up to 96, 97, sits kind of 94, 95, in that ballpark. A lot of strikes, kind of a natural on time pitcher, really good delivery, cutter, slider, good changeup. Can pitch on both sides of the plate, can pitch with his fastball, can pitch
Hmm.
with his secondary pitches. A very athletic guy, holds runners, kind of manages the game, pretty good, learning how to do that. So he's off to a pretty good start. He's thrown 2 5 inning stints, and he struck out 10 against TCU and pretty effective against San Diego. So I think he's just going to get better and better. And I think if you've
Yeah.
seen him live, I think you really appreciate his pitchability.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at offense real quick. Speaking of transfers, Will Gasparino tied with Rock for the team lead with 6 home runs. He's a guy that I've seen a lot over the past couple of
Yeah.
years, given that he was at Texas. But it seems like he's got a little bit better plate discipline right now. He's got 6 walks already on the season. Are you just seeing a lot better approach from him from what maybe you saw on film at Texas previously?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. That's fair to say. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't, you're dealing with the freshman and a sophomore, in this day of age of college baseball, it's hard to do well as a freshman
Yeah.
and really maintain things. So I think there was probably some maturity things, some, strike swing decisions that he clearly was just young. And he clearly has power. He's getting into his power. Brian's done a great job with him, trying to seek out strikes and take balls. And it's the same thing that I'm sure Texas did.
Yeah.
It's not a magic formula by no means, but I think it's just we're probably getting the player at the right
Hmm.
time of his career. And, he's back in Los Angeles. He's back home. He's around a lot of the players that he grew up with, and they got a good handle on him and his temperament and his attitude and his presence. And so we're just trying to build all those things into his game. And clearly he's off to a really hot start, and he's playing really good defense. And so far so good. So this will
Yeah.
be a really good test for him this weekend. It'll be a good test for all our hitters, really, just in terms of type of pitching we're going to be facing. But it's so far they've had a really good approach, and we've played really good defense, and that usually equates to winning.
For sure. Is there a singular, player or pitcher for that matter that you kind of pinpoint and go, man, like, I'm not sure I expected him to kind of take that step this quick this season?
Well, that's a good one. We have some experience, right? West and Brennan. I would say Cashel Duggar would be the guy, the catcher
Yeah.
that really, he's showing some offense. He's an elite receiver. He's an elite thrower. He's another really, I guess you would call him a strike thrower from behind the plate. For his accuracy numbers are very, very high. Uh, ball security is really at the highest level. I would say Duggar's taken a big jump physically, and another
Hmm.
guy that's really grown into his game and grown into his body, and played in the Cape, was a Cape Cod All Star last summer, and really is running the pitching staff. And I would say Duggar is the one guy. I mean, we know Levu's very good. We know Martin. We know Chalowski. We know West. We know the capabilities of Gasparino. But I would say that Duggar and Aguayo, Aiden Aguayo, the second baseman, the freshman, has played
Yeah.
really well, as with this team. So there is some guys have come onto the scene a little bit. I wouldn't say surprised, but nationally, people are seeing them play.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, I've got to ask about him because that's who everybody wants to hear about. But Rod Chalowski, obviously, we all know about his abilities on the field. But
Yeah,
one of the things that stood out to me, I think I was watching Eric Sorensen's interview with him the other night during one of
yeah,
the TCU games, and it just blows me away, like just how mature the guy is. It's like having another coach on the team
yeah,
almost. With his approach, is he just one of those guys as a coach? And I know you work with him on hitting like your coaches
yeah,
do, but like, is he almost one of those guys that like you don't even? It's like when your kid turns 17 or something, you feel like you
yeah.
don't have to tell him to take out the trash anymore. Is he like one of those guys that you don't really have to tell him what to do anymore?
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
his IQ for the game and his awareness for the opposition, and I mean, he has his own scout report. I mean, he knows the entire bullpen of a team. He knows the starter.
Yeah.
He knows how many hits he's given up, walks and strikeouts. What's
Crazy.
his superpower pitch. I mean, the guy is just a all around leader in both on and off the field, and
Hmm.
has a tremendous presence about him that just sues winning. Winning is all he really cares about, and leading this program back to Omaha. That's entirely his goal. He's not being distracted by the draft, and as you can tell, the way
Yeah.
that he's playing, that's how you're supposed to be playing your junior year. And a lot of times you don't see that. You see guys on pins and needles and worried about how they look and who's at the ball game and who's watching them and this and that. And I don't see any of that, knock on wood, so far. So he's off to a great start.
Yeah, and lastly, just kind of looking ahead of the weekend, obviously, one of the big storylines before, Big Ten play is you guys get to go against three SEC schools this
Yeah.
weekend. I guess your thoughts on that challenge, and also you'll learn a little bit about your team on Saturday night. Facing A&M team, it's going to be a road game. I
Yeah.
mean, they're going to have a pretty big crowd there, so you kind of get a little mix of everything in terms of what what you'll learn about your team this weekend.
Yeah, it's exactly what we need. Exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Obviously, I made the schedule, and you always can make the schedule kind of towards your needs in a lot of ways, and challenges, and
Hmm.
bringing TCU in on a home and home and a return trip. We went there in 24, got swept with the same freshman class that just swept them as juniors.
Yep.
So you learned a little bit about that, and the progression and development of people and players. And then, this is a tremendous challenge before we go to Ohio State next week. I don't know if you looked at the schedule, but we're
Yeah.
at Ohio State next week, open up league. So
I'm
we're going to
scared to
be in
look
a,
at the weather report for that.
I haven't even looked at it, but it's going to be a tremendous challenge.
Yeah.
Both road trips, and you learn so much about your team when you go on the road. Like you said, we got a couple neutral games, then we really have a true road game with A&M, and that's what we need. We need to be challenged, and we need to see where our strengths and certainly where our weaknesses are. So it's really what we're looking for to get out of this weekend.
Awesome. Well, Coach Savage, we appreciate your time and good luck to the